it's getting faster, better, cheaper.
And with more technology like this accessible to the public, we may be one step closer to putting COVID behind us. In Denver, I'm Elizabeth Ruiz reporting.
Elizabeth, thank you for that report. Well, that's going to do it for us today. I'm Michelle London. Denver 7 News at 5 starts right now.
Now on Denver 7 News, it's day one of Broncos training camp. The moment Broncos country has been waiting for, quite literally.
We ended up getting out here about 5-ish yesterday. This is definitely the biggest hype we've seen in a long time, for sure.
Fans camping out, braving last night's storm, all for a chance to see the Broncos.
I want to try to get an autograph from Russ.
With a new big-name quarterback, longtime fans are sure this is the year.
It's been a struggle these past few years, and it's just now that we kind of have a little bit of hope is restored.
We're going all the way. We're going Super Bowl.
We have team coverage tonight from inside and outside the gates.
I've been a Broncos fan ever since I was a little kid, so I mean, just to have that energy back, you know, it's very exciting. I'm super glad to be here.
Oh boy, people are excited. Broncos football is back. A sea of orange and blue making its way into the UC Health Training Center today for day one of training camp. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 5. I'm Ann Trujillo.
I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us. And some fans were waiting outside the gates since yesterday. We have team coverage for all things Broncos for you tonight, and we'll get to the fans in a moment. First, though, our sports director, Lionel Bienvenu, and our Broncos insider, Troy Rank, live at UC Health Training Center with Russell and day one. Gentlemen?
Yeah, Shannon and Ann, day one was different than day one here in the past, at least the past 6 years. Actually, the past 10 years, Troy, since Peyton Manning arrived on day one of training camp 2012. But as we take a look at some of the sights and sounds from day one of practice on the field, it was competitive, it was full of energy, it was full of enthusiasm. Now that doesn't win the Super Bowl here on day one, but it certainly helps on the road to the big playoffs.
Yeah, listen, the juxtaposition from last year was striking, Lionel. I mean, that was like watching C-SPAN last year, how boring it was. This year was like a ferret on a double espresso, running around with Coach Hackett, the energy. There's hope. That is the biggest thing. When you have a star quarterback, you believe you can win on Sundays. And Russell Wilson, everything felt different because number 3, Russell Wilson, was running that offense today.
Yeah, Troy. Well, here's Russell and Bradley Chubb on the first practice, which I said was competitive, of course, and as we know, full of energy.
It felt like a game, to be honest with you. We were getting after it, ones versus ones, just to go back and forth, the speed of it all. And so that's how we practice all, OTAs for the most part. It was just high level, This is why it's great to be here, just because of the high level of practice guys are putting into it. Like I said, anytime you want to be successful, you got to put the work in. There's no magic pill, there's no hidden tricks, there's no nothing. It's just, are you going to do the work? Are you going to do everything it takes? Are you going to sacrifice every day? And that's what we're doing. That's what we've done. And
a whole new kind of culture shift with a quarterback, coach, owner. Everybody gets excited, you know what I'm saying? And the guys that's been here, we feel the change as well. We feel the energy changing. And just to be out here with the fans for the first time in practice, is you can feel it already, man. Everybody's ready to go. Everybody's excited. And just got to keep that momentum going.
But Troy felt at the moment that Russ ran on the field and then ran over to the hill and started high-fiving the fans, right? But there is another aspect to this, and that is Russell Wilson's contract status.
Yeah, listen, I was able to ask Russell about that today, but here's the situation. Kyler Murray signed a contract this week with $160 million guaranteed through injury. Russell Wilson's going to top that. He's going to top that $46 million per season in average annual value. Talked to a source today who said there will be nothing going on until ownership is approved. That won't happen until August 9th, but I fully expect something to happen with Russell Wilson at some point.
Yeah, well, here's what Russ said today on your question, answering your question about Kyler and the other quarterbacks getting big money. He said his contract is not his focus.
Awesome for them. Obviously, Kyler, great for him. Obviously, Lamar, his situation, but it has nothing to really do with me. I'm excited to be here. I know that. I know I want to be here for a long, long time, hopefully the rest of my career, and just it's been a blessing just to be here with these guys. I mean, to be here with George Payton, he's been amazing to me. Coach Hackett, first class, unbelievable mind, unbelievable way how he leads this football team, the rest of the coaching staff, the players, the organization. This is a tremendous honor. So every day I look at it as treating every day as a new day, and treating every day as just going into it. So that's my focus, that's my sole focus, and winning a Super Bowl for the Denver Broncos and more.
Winning a Super Bowl for the Denver Broncos, Troy. That all started today on day one. Of course, you got to continue it on day 2 and 3 and 4 and all the way through camp.
Well, we learned that from Peyton Manning, right, Lionel? When small things matter, big things happen. And we see the same thing with Russell Wilson.
All right, we'll have much more coming up later, but right now, let's go back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Lionel, Troy, thank you very much.
Oh, Broncos love is in the air, right? Also, Denver 7's Brian Wang he was also out at training camp today. Brian joins us now. So as we mentioned earlier, those fans, they were fired up.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about some of the most dedicated fans on the planet here, okay? They got here super early, basically wrapped around this entire building, waiting in line just to get a good spot on the field. And I can't tell you how many fans we met that were supposed to be at work today, but called in sick. So as you can imagine, when we asked them, hey, can you do a live interview with us? They're like, absolutely not. But our biggest fan didn't call out of work. He just had to deal with a lot of adversity overnight. Take a look.
It's no weather for camping, unless you're a die-hard Broncos fan.
It's been in my family my whole life.
This fan enduring heavy rain overnight.
We had a tent for a little bit.
To be the first inside day 1 Broncos training camp. Hundreds waiting in line with one goal in mind.
I can't wait to see the players.
More specifically,
I'd like to see Russell Wilson. Excited to see Russell Wilson for the first time practicing as a Bronco.
And then it was time. Crowds rushing in to find the best view of the Broncos, players throwing the ball back and forth with the fans, and finally hailing their new king, Russell Wilson. Wilson high-fiving fans and getting them pumped up for practice.
Just insane. I got a high five from Russ, caught a ball from Sam Martin. Yeah, it's a lot.
Your day's off to a good start, it sounds like.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
After practice, true character shown by the players. Cortland Sutton, Russell Wilson, and others signing autographs and chatting with fans.
Russell Wilson is just a good guy, obviously a great quarterback. And it's just, it's great to be excited about a season again, where it's kind of like we have a realistic chance of making the playoffs.
Look, we are all very excited about this season, and I gotta say, this is probably the most exciting first day of practice since Peyton Manning signed on with the team back in 2012. The best part is, we get 2 more weeks of this, baby. Back to you.
Playing hooky in orange and blue.
Good
all right,
stuff.
Brian, thank you very much. Denver 7 Sports Team will have all you need to know about Broncos training camp. You can catch it on air and online on thedenverchannel.com.
From flooded roads to mudslides. Boy, there's a lot to clean up after last night's storm.
And look at this, a tornado touchdown out in Kit Carson County yesterday. National Weather Service said it touched down at 4:30 yesterday afternoon, stayed on the ground for about 10 minutes. It's estimated the peak winds there were 80 miles per hour, and it traveled for about 20 miles.
All right, meteorologist Stacey Donaldson joining us now, and more storms on the way, Stace.
That's right. They're popping up right now in the heat of the afternoon. Highs today in the low 90s for the Front Range. We have scattered thunderstorms off to our west. We have one severe thunderstorm warning coming right over the border from Wyoming into Colorado. And for our evening thunderstorms, the strongest are expected to be up into northeastern Colorado, but we do have a cold front moving through the state tonight. It'll pass through the Denver area around 9 o'clock, and that will usher in some cooler air, but it'll kind of mix up the atmosphere and bring in a chance for more thunderstorm activity. This will be between 8 o'clock tonight and 1 a.m. in the morning. So almost a repeat of the exact location of what we saw last night with the lightning storm and heavy rain that moved through the area. Should clear out by early morning though. We'll have some leftover fog and some cooler conditions tomorrow morning. So for the rest of tonight, we are expecting scattered thunderstorms later on. Temperatures dropping into the 70s and cooler air tomorrow. But I'll let you know what we're working with for strong thunderstorms tomorrow as well coming up.
All right, thank you, Stacey. Other news we're following tonight: in the aftermath of a woman in Denver's East Colfax neighborhood being struck and killed by a stray bullet, community members are criticizing the emergency response during the tragedy. Denver police say on the night of July 15th, Ma Kang was killed after shots were fired near the Hidden Brook Apartments on Xenia Street. Well, in the days since the tragedy, her loved ones have come forward to say their 911 calls were placed on hold or they were hung up on. And Denver 7 has confirmed 911 calls were received by both Aurora and Denver dispatchers. Both cities, however, deny hanging up. Today, community members from the apartment complex gathered for a public meeting with first responders to demand improvements to 911 communications, and Ma Kang's son addressed the matter.
When somebody's calling about saying my mother got shot in the head, nobody on the other side should be saying, let me change you to a different line or let me dispatch you to a different department because you're in the wrong department.
Denver 7 has confirmed all the 911 calls placed that night should have gone straight to Denver dispatchers, but because some wireless providers didn't have location-based routing, some calls went to Aurora. Coming up on Denver 7 News at 6, we will dive into potential solutions to this issue.
Today, the FOMC raised its policy interest rate by 0.75 percentage point.
Federal Reserve raising interest rates again to try to curb inflation. Now, this marks the fourth rate hike this year from the Fed, so borrowing on everything from mortgages, credit cards, car loans will be more expensive. In fact, the average credit card balance right now in this country, about $5,000. So if you're making the minimum payments with this new rate hike, your APR is likely to jump from about 17.25% to 18%, and that means another $283 in interest you'll have to spend to pay off that balance. There are some indications these increases, though, are having an impact. From Walmart today, they cut its profit outlook, saying consumers are spending less. And, of course, gasoline prices have been on the decline. The national average there now stands at $4.33. That's down 16 cents in the last week.
The reduction in gas prices that you've seen over the last couple of weeks is providing some measure of breathing room. Not enough, but some measure of breathing room.
Consumers, of course, still facing high costs at the grocery store, and consumer confidence has fallen in July for the third consecutive month. And that, along with slowing home sales, suggests the economy has begun to weaken.
All right, speaking of your money, if you forgot to buy your lottery tickets last night for the Mega Millions drawing, or you just didn't win, well, you're in good company because nobody won. So the jackpot is sitting now at about $1 billion. And yes, the next drawing is Friday.
Coming up, as more abortion bans take effect across the country, women are traveling to this Colorado organization for help.
It's not uncommon that I hear a patient says she just arrived on a flight and came straight to the clinic, or they were just in the car for 15 hours and arrived straight at the clinic without sleeping all night.
We're taking a look at the numbers so far.
Plus, if seeing the Broncos at Empower Field isn't enough, one airline has a deal you'll want to hear about.